you know, when you talk about injuries, you know, people sprain their ankles, dislocate your fingers, but Achilles, you know, people don't come back from that.
Well,
Athletes don't come back from that to the level they were before.
yeah.
How do you get that resilience? How do you fight that?
Well, what I did is, I went home and I was just really angry. And
Angry?
I was angry. I was mad. I was angry. I worked so hard for us to get to the playoffs and to have a chance to win another championship, and then this happened. So I had a lot of anger. And then from the anger, then I was sad. And then you start feeling bad for yourself. And then you say, all right, okay, I'm done being a baby. Okay, what am I going to do now? Because I can't sit here and give up. That's not an option. So now what?
How long was the cycle from this anger?
This is one night.
One night.
It's one night. It's one night. It was
Because
like,
you started writing in the middle of the night, right? You wrote that. You wrote that.
Then it was okay. What are we gonna do? So it was one night. But then then you start. It's a process. You look at a process. What am I gonna do? What can I control? Surgery. We'll do the surgery. Come out of the surgery. Recover. From there, physical therapy. Okay. Physical therapy. Piece by piece by piece by piece by piece. Start running. Back on the court. So I broke things down into sections and said, okay, I'm gonna focus on resting right now. This is it. I'm gonna focus on moving my toes and then walking. And then, so you look at every challenge at every step, and that's how you're able to be resilient and come back from these things.
Because you know, for your field in sports, injuries often happen, right? And to come back. But you know, for most everyday people, it's something that they can't fathom because they don't have that type of resistance that they have to face, right? So how do they come back from it? Because sometimes people fail in their fields, in their jobs, or at school. Young kids, you know, you don't have a good test score, you don't make the basketball team, or you know, they have these disappointments. What is your advice to young kids to, you know, to face this adversity? How do you persevere?
Well, like if you.
Because you have that chemical makeup to fight through it.
Yeah.
Not all kids do.
But you every kid, every person has the ability to put one foot in front of them.
One step at a time.
Right? So like if you're saying, okay, I'm gonna climb Mount Everest, and you're at the bottom of the mountain and you look up and you're going, I'm not gonna do this. Right? But if you break it down into sections, you just one foot in front of the other, one step at a time, next thing you know, you're at the top of the mountain.
So the map, the plan is to set short-term goals.
Yeah.
And to get there. A to B, B to C, C to D.
Coming back from my Achilles, I came back from the Achilles, and I was fine. For the next year, I fractured my knee. Right? So, here we go again. Come back from that next year, tear my shoulder. Here we go again. Right? But if I looked at those things in totality, it'd be depressing. But if I look at it as just the facts, this is it happened. Can't do anything about it. It happened. Now what are you gonna do? One step at a time.
Achilles, knee, shoulder, any step of the way you said. Screw it, forget it. Done. No more.
No.
Never.
No. Well, no. Why? Right? Because as time goes on, I'm sitting there, 70, 80 years old, and I'm going to be wondering if I could have come back from this injury. I want to find out.
We got to get to that 60-point game.
I want to see, man.
We got to get to that game.
Yeah, like the critics are out there saying he's done, he'll never come back. Maybe you're right. Maybe you're not. But let's find out.
We got to get there. We got to get there. Last one, to be fearless. You know, that's something that I think every young adult, young kids, they face their fears. Right? What does that mean to you, to be fearless? Why is that such an important part of the Mamba mentality?
Well, because I think the greatest fear that we face is ourselves. Actually, it's not anything that's external, anything that's superficial. The greatest fear you face is yourself, because we all have dreams. It's very scary sometimes to accept the dream that you have. It's scarier still to say, okay, I want that. It's scary because you're afraid that if you put your heart and soul into it and you fail, then how are you going to feel about yourself? Right? So being fearless means putting yourself out there and going for it. No matter what, go for it. Not for anybody else, but for yourself.
When you got to the league, you were 18. Did you have any fears? before getting there, or when you got there right away?
Yeah, I mean, I had fears that everybody was going to be right. I made a cool choice, a cool decision.
Jump from high school to the NBA.
And I wasn't going to mount it. So that was always in the back of my mind, for sure.
And then, so out of these 5 pillars, which one do you think comes first? Passionate, fearless, relentless, resilient, or they just come together?
This funny thing is, like, we created these separate pillars. The reality is it's all one thing, because it all comes from within. It all comes from within us. We all experience these things at different stages, at different points, at different times. The key, I think, is just to be aware of those moments as they occur. Right? You're aware of a certain fear, a certain obstacle or challenge. Right? You're just aware of those things, and then from there you can navigate through it. But I look at them all as one connected thing.
Because I think being fearless, this last one sticks out in my mind a lot because, being in Asia, Asian kids, a lot of times they're a little bit more boxed in thought and mentality as opposed to Western kids. Western kids, a lot of the family, the environment, ever since a young age in school, it's preaching independence. Speak your thoughts, be creative, independent. A lot of that. It's also reiterated by teachers, principals, mothers and fathers, and aunts and uncles and coaches, is to bring name to yourself, and to be independent, to be out there and go on your own. But in Asia, a lot of the cultures, whether it's Chinese, Japanese, Korean, it's don't go out there and do crazy things. Don't go out of your comfort zone. Make your family proud. Don't bring other people attention. Just do your thing, do it well, but don't bring attention. And I think a lot of kids are fearful of going out of this box, right? Is there advice for these kids? Because a lot of times it's a cultural difference.
Sure.
Right? How do they put themselves out there when?
Listen, it's very simple. You have to dance beautifully in the box that you are comfortable dancing in. Right? So like everybody's box is different. My box was to be extremely ambitious within the sport of basketball. Your box is different than mine. Right? Every kid here has their own box. It doesn't mean that your box isn't as beautiful as mine. Right? Everybody has their own. It's your job to try to perfect it and make it as beautiful of a canvas as you can make it. And if you have done that, then you have lived a successful life. You have lived with fulfillment. So it doesn't mean you have to go out here and do all of these crazy things. I'll have to be like this person, that person. No. What are you comfortable doing? What is it that you want to do with your life? Once you have that, then you try to live it to the best of your ability.
So growing up in Italy and then moving on to Philadelphia and then to LA, obviously you talk about this box, right? So is that box constantly changing? Are you trying to get out of your comfort zone? Even when you were, first year in the NBA and then 10th year in the NBA, and then even this year, is that box, this metaphorical box you talk about, does that change?
No, I never looked at it as like I'm just going to try something crazy, like just go out of my box. I just looked at it as I want to be one of the best basketball players who've ever played. That's the end goal. Okay, how do I get there? Every decision I made in my life was centered around the process of helping me eventually get there. You know what I'm saying? So I had that purpose, and once I had that purpose, every decision that I made was centered around that purpose.
You think you got there? Looking back upon it now, 2 decades in the NBA, high school, Italy to high school, Philadelphia to the NBA. You spent your whole career with one organization. To me, is your biggest accomplishment to be with one team.
Thank you.
You look back upon it now, when you had your goals as a kid, you're 5 years old, you wanted to be in the NBA, and then when you're at Lower Merion, Philadelphia, those dreams started to become, hey, I'm going to get there, right? And then you're in the NBA, you set goals for yourself. You talk about all the time, when you're young in the NBA, you set personal achievement goals. I'm going to win a game, I'm going to win a championship, I'm going to win the MVP, I'm going to win this, I'm going to win that. And then later on, you changed because you said, I'm just going to get better. And if I'm going to get a better left hand, I'm going to have a better three-pointer, I'm going to have a better free throw. Those other personal achievements come naturally. Now you're done. Played your final game, 60 points. You dropped it on Utah. Mamba out, right?
Yeah.
You look back upon it now. Where do you see yourself? Did you do everything you wanted to do? Did you become the best basketball player you could ever become? Did you become the best GOAT?
It's weird. Like my vision of what my goal is changed drastically as I got older. It's like as a kid, I said I want to be the best ever. And now you go through your life, and everything you do, try to be the best ever, be the best ever. As you get older, you start understanding that those things are very superficial things. And everybody has a different opinion about it. No matter what you do, you can win 20 championships. There's always an opinion of who's the best. Everybody has different opinions. And so I started really kind of understanding maybe it's not the important thing. Maybe the important thing is to how do we as a team grow? How do I help my teammates be better? So that was the first change for me. And then as I got older still, it became more about how are you inspiring others, right, to find themselves. That is the ultimate championship. So won 5 championships, that's great. Another team won a championship this year. The team's gonna win a championship next year. Those things come and they go. But what stays is how do you use your passion and use that to inspire somebody else to create their passion? And then how can they pass that on to the next person? That is true success. So my goals have changed drastically from the time I was 6 years old to the time I was 17 to the time I was 25, and now I'm sitting here at 37.
So now you left the game of basketball. We're here in Shanghai. We're going to end our talk today since we've gone a little bit past our limit, but I think everybody is very happy to be here, and I think they've learned a lot about the Mamba mentality, right? What's next, for you?
Well, yeah, it's always teaching the game, right? Teaching the game through various ways. We do camps and clinics, we do those things, but also through storytelling. Right? How can you share stories with the rest of the world that challenges them to look internally and to learn things like process, and learn how to navigate the sense of self and those things? How can you infuse that into entertainment and in a way that pushes our culture and society forward? Those are the questions that I'm really intrigued by. That's what we're talking about.
Ladies and gentlemen, one of the greatest of all time, Kobe Bryant.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Welcome to my brand new office. Now that we have finally moved out of the old space, I actually have this entire office to set up to do lots of work, to do lots of video creation. Who am I kidding? I need a chill spot to be able to watch videos, play games, and pretend to do work while Jared's out there doing actual work. So it's all thanks to our good friends over at Gobi who are sponsoring this video, who are providing not only their original sort of immersion backlight, but also they've got the brand new backlight T2. What's neat about this is that this actually takes advantage of a dual camera setup to give you a fully immersive TV setup. While I have a lot of work to do to actually build out the office, the first thing I want to do is focus on the TV which we have chosen because it is almost exactly the right size for this wall. Let's get this thing started. So we've already got the TV, which this is again a 65-inch TV. Now Gobi were kind enough to send out not only their original version of the immersion, but also the T2. So the T2 is I think what we're going to actually use. Obviously, this is just a package, but you can kind of see the idea here, right? If you have a very colorful scene, you'll be able to have your TV kind of almost blend into the background, especially if you have sort of narrower bezels. And what's nice about the Gobi setup is that it doesn't require you to use any performance, right? So a lot of other sort of setups that require like an HDMI box and whatnot, yes, they work directly. The problem is you lose some features like HDMI 2.1, or you can't run the actual apps inside your TV or something. This is universal. Anything that is on your TV, it will be able to replicate with the RGB behind. So this is our PC.
Do you want to try it?
We'll talk about what's inside the PC later. Let's see if it fits first. That's
See?
Oh, dude, look
No
at this.
test fitting required.
Look at this. There's not even a finger's worth of gap. So inside we've got ourselves a 3080 Ti. We also have a 12900KF, as well as, how much RAM did you put in here?
32 gigs.
32 gigs. Fun fact, this is going to be the first time I basically ever had my own office. Even when I like worked at home, I didn't really have like, it was more of like a space. But this is actually like my proper office. It smells like quality and adhesive. So the first step is going to be just wiping down the surface, which I think is actually pretty important. Because you imagine if you're going to put these like sort of strips of adhesive, you don't want it to get stuck.
You will not outwork me. On your jet, you will not outwork me. In your Bentley, you will not outwork me. In life, when you...
It's just about not losing vision and not losing sight of what you're...
To be the best, you have to.
B, bro. Just fucking B.
sa Grabmart. Buy what you need and more.
Grabmart!
We go to Shopee. This 11-11.
Get Rec Show. Direk, ilang oras pa akong pag-iintayin dito? On the way. Pangit na mukha, pangit pa ugali. Ano nyo na, pakiano na lang. Update nyo na, tawagan nyo na, baka nandiyan na, oh. Ano yan, dito na? Papasukin nyo na, ang tagal eh. Huwag mo nang umupo, huwag ka munang umupo. Tumayo ka muna, please lang. Nalig ka na nga eh, hayop ka eh. Huwag kayong magkikis ng ano, kung ganito. Huwag nyo ako pinag-iintay. Mahal talent ko. Ha? 500k ako gawa. Para kayong ano.
Ay, mahal din po pala talent nyo.
Huwag kang sumagot. Susuntukin na kita.
Sorry.
Bad trip na ako sa'yo, late ka. Anong bago sa'yo ha?
Hindi naman po sinasadya eh. Na-late lang siyempre, traffic red eh.
Kaya ano ka pa ha? Parang maangas ka pa ha?
Ayun ka. Okay na po ba to? Hindi kasi po, ano eh, baka mamaya. So, patayin ka na po ha, patayin ka.
Tatak ko mo nga ano, ginagawa. Sige na, Direk, isimulan na natin to para malis na sa harap ko to. Okay, so ayun na, welcome sa lahat na nanonood. Ito ang Get Rec Show, ang show ng mga gago, ngunit nagbago at may bago. At ayun, ang guest ko ngayon si... Paano mo?
Ako ba?
Balmond.
Hindi, ako po si Thunderford, Thunder Algar. Yun po yung pinalit ko po sa pangalan ko ngayon. Pwede niyo po akong i-follow.
Ang unang tanong, ang paki ko.
Ano po ba? Tanong po
Anong
ba
paki ko?
Hindi ko alam po tayo.
Wala akong paki.
Hindi, wala yan.
Okay, so yan. Welcome natin si Sander po na yan. Welcome sa'yo, Sander Alcazala. Okay, papalakpak kayo. Parang forget mo ang kalapate. Kalapangit. Ay.
Personal na po ata yan, men. Parang ano na yan. Ano yan? Below the belt na yan.
Bakit? Pag ganun yung palakpak, o isa pang palakpak kayo ng ganun.
O, di ba?
Pag pumalakpak ka ng ganyan, kalapangit yan eh.
Wala po mga palakpak.
Palakpakin ko ang mukha mo. So ayun, ito na. Tanong ko sa'yo. Sikat na sikat ka at kilala ka sa buong Pilipinas. Ayan ha. Sikat ka eh, no? Kilalang kilala ka eh. Ang tanong is, ba't mukha kang paa?
Ganito itsura, no? Ganito, mukhang paa.
Oo.
Pogi ko kaya ako.
Pogi ka?
Kung papalitokin ba ako kung hindi, ba't pag ako kapil ng gawa ito para maging pogi?
Parehab ka rin, parehab ka. Oo.
So,
Parang tutulong mano rin, no? Mahalit din, no? Oo. Parehab ka na may rehab. Hindi, mamaya search mo. Okay, gusto mo, daling kita pagkatapos dito. Tanda niyo, mamaya ano kita ha? Punta kita rin ha?
Marami po mga pagkain doon.
Oo, syempre.
Sige.
Wala daw ginawang pangit ang Diyos. Naniniwala ka.
Oo naman, syempre na. Lahat ng tao, pati.
Tama, totoo yan. Wala daw ginawang pangit ang Diyos. Kung totoo man yun, ano ka pala?
Tao ako, syempre. Kaya nga, di ba?
Hindi, malabo.
Ang tao, may ganito mukha, di ba? Siyempre, kung di ako tao, dito sana itsura ko, di ba? Tanong ba yan? Pang ano, pang bobong tanong yan, Bob.
Anong bobo pa? Anong bobo?
Ba't?
Sige, ito na. Ibayin natin. Direk, ano yun na kasi yung mga tanong nyo? Ang pangit kasi ng tanungan dito eh. Ito, sige, maayos na to. Next question. Ayan, walang ginawang pangit ang Diyos. Ito, next question.